Alright, so the Anomaly DLC is coming out soon, and I wanted to finish this playthrough off so that I'll be ready to make a new save for as soon as that one starts. Not really the kind of guy to keep multiple colonies going at the same time, so this one will be over. This was my most successful colony. It started as a naked brutality, like I always start as in, you know, one colonist with nothing. And it is, yeah, easily been probably the biggest, most successful colony I ever had. My starting colonist was Valgus here, so I still am lucky enough to have that colonist hanging around. She was, I don't even know how old she was. But alright, let's start where we always start. So the first thing that I usually build is a dining room that I then attach a freezer to, and across from it I do the beds. So this dining room here was the first room in this whole colony. It's extremely impressive. All my statues are very nice. Here's my sleeping block. Just slab beds for my religion. There's the religion. It's sort of a rough living cannibalistic religion. It was actually like fairly good. Fairly easy, you know, no eating without table debuffs, which was really nice. But the only way that I allowed myself to get new colonists for the longest time was a ritual. So we would sacrifice somebody, and then there was a chance that somebody would arrive, and that's how we built this colony. Just a little challenge. And that stopped after we started having kids, which all the kids are the numbered colonists. But anyways, just quickly go through the stuff. We've got one sleeping quarters here. You'll notice this room is different. That's because this person is an ascetic. All my ascetics, well, this person isn't, but 8 is. They're just married. But yeah, all my ascetics are royalty, because obviously royalty and ascetic trait go together really well. So I have 3 royals. They're all praetors, or 2 of them are praetors, and one of them was on the way to becoming a praetor. I just never got around to it. And then that's the other living quarters. This is the armory. It's not full of anything special. I think a lot of these doomsday weapons are bio-coded as well, so nothing special there. There's a lot of storage rooms. We had to keep expanding and making storage room. This was the last one that I made. Here's the church, probably the most impressive room in the whole thing. I was going to tile it in gold, but you know what, I never got around to it. This is the drug manufacturing room. I never actually ended up making any drugs because frankly, if you have cannibalism and cannibalistic traits, human leather is just so much better than drugs to gift and sell and keep, and end game raids plus, you know, chopping up every single body just equals mass wealth. It is honestly overpowered. The next playthrough I do will not be featuring that religion just because frankly it made the game very easy. Here's our crypt. This isn't everybody that died, but it is the ones that I felt were significant. We had Chosen Free, who was a child that got eaten by a mega sloth, or Chosen 5, I guess, was a child who got eaten by a mega sloth. We had Sheep. Frankly, I can't even remember how Sheep died. That was a while ago now. And we also have Ichabod, who was, I think they had like 18 intellectual or something when they died. I was really sad about that, but it's all good. Moving on to more rooms. Here's the power room. We moved on from these pretty quickly. Got rid of all the batteries so that we're a batteryless colony, so that you know, zap events aren't such a problem. This is the prison area right now, but I've got a sanguiphage and a single prisoner for him to nibble on. I didn't really capture the sanguiphage for any reason. I just thought he would be a cool prisoner to have so that my prison wasn't empty, and he's very low maintenance because of the thing. He's missing a lot of limbs because every time he prison breaks, we just cut him up, and because he's deathless, he never dies, so eventually he's just going to run out of limbs, I think. As we were talking about before, the Royals, here are their throne rooms. Pretty basic. Don't need anything more than that for a Praetor. Technically, you don't even need these braziers lit, because the aesthetic trait means that they don't even actually need a throne room. We just had the throne rooms for the what's it called? The crowning ceremonies where they make them into Praetors. But yeah, technically these rooms are just a waste of space. But you know, you gotta go for aesthetic stuff. Here's the hospital. I took the time every time I got inspiration to make sure I got a legendary or a masterwork hospital bed. So there's a bunch of them. We're actually out of herbal medicine right now, but we've got plenty of Glitter World medicine anyway. What do we got here? Production room. If you ever had a transhumanist religion, God, this sucks. Like the biosculptor pods, absolutely blows. But it's alright. So we have this biosculptor pod, and then there's one over here too. But we were actually phasing these out. I just never got around to it, because this is the gene room, which actually used to be a mess of these gene processors because I made a giant seed. But once I finished my xenogerm or whatever it's called, I just got rid of them all because I didn't need them. Just quickly having a look at the seed. We only have 2 that ever got it. So Elise was the first one to have it. It's not perfect. I think what I was mainly missing was manipulation stuff, so elongated fingers and the smooth tails. But I got to a point where it had been so long into my playthrough and I still hadn't put any sort of genes into my colonists that I just got bored. So I decided to skip out on all that stuff. But obviously the Archetype genes do what the Archetype genes do, and they have the gene implanter one, which means that I no longer need gene to create genes. You can just implant these to everybody. But I would say that the real crowning jewels of this is like Dead Calm, and just because violent mental breaks are so annoying to deal with, especially in a late game colony. Yeah, so like I said, they have the gene implanter. I only ever got 2, but the idea was that once Elise and Eric's genes finish regrowing, they would give them to 2, and then those 4 would give them to 4, and eventually everybody would be perfect. But you know what? I just can't be bothered waiting that long. The Anomaly DLC is too close. There's the mech room. Don't really use it anymore. Actually, I do think we're making more mechs. We have 3 Mechanators. Elise was the latest one, and she's got really nothing. But for mechs, just a lot of haulers, a lot of cleaners. We have Velgus, who was the first Mechanator. She made the Brood Mother, what is it called? The War Queen and the 2 Tunnelers, which were like always my starting mechs. And then when I got my second Mechanator, that being 2, she just has all the centipedes, which obviously are very strong. So, and yeah, we were turning Elise into a 3rd Mechanator with just even more centipedes, but not going to finish that now. Any other normal rooms to explain? Yeah, this is power as well. This used to be a room full of shelves for the chem fuel, but we actually had a zap event ignite the entire room and wipe out all my chem fuel, which thankfully didn't set off my unstable power cells. I think the way that I have this set up right now, a single Z event could actually wipe out my entire block of power cells. But you know what? In this whole playthrough, it's been going on now. It's like, what is it, 30 years since the start? It never happened. It did, like I said, it did happen into my chem fuel room, but apparently 1 layer of walls was enough to protect it. So, no mass explosion. I'll probably make this smarter in the future, but who cares? Right? Yeah, so that's like mostly like the normal base. This was a pet area, which I don't really keep pets usually. Well, not ones that need a pen. I have 1 pet. Oh, never mind. I have no pets. I had a pet rat, and then I had a pet rabbit, but I guess they're dead now. This is just for quests where, like, usually the Empire will be like, take care of my sheep or something. It's got blood rot. There's my ground penetrating scan, which I think somebody has been using ever since I built it. So there's just a ton of ore everywhere. Not much reason to do much with it. Down here is where I keep all the materials that nobody's going to break or steal. This is all smoothed, and this whole area I hollowed out of the mountain. It solely exists just to bait infestation spawns. I don't know if the fact that this is all empty and clear baits more infestations than normal, but I know that since I've built this, although it hasn't been that long since this has been here, probably only like 5 years out of the 30 that I played. Since I've built this, I've probably had 10 infestations, and they all have occurred inside of this area. So something to consider if you're doing a mountain base. It helps because, you know, the more like when you get rooms like the church that's so expensive and then they break stuff in it, it's just such a pain, you know. So I really recommend one of these just bait spots. This is where I fight them when they come around. I just stack everybody in here and they draw all the insects and it's over. Alright, moving away, we have, this is the recharger dock for the mechs, just so that they're close to the kill box. The kill box is very simple. You don't need a big flashy kill box. This is a very late game colony. What wealth are we at? We're at like 1 million, 1.2 mil wealth. So, you know, pretty much the max wealth. And this kill box is just fine for that, honestly. It doesn't need anything else. Breacher raids, I just deal with by using like low pack shields, you know. But like, yeah, otherwise it's just this kill box. Very simple kill box. This area here specifically is because I figured out in this playthrough only that the way I designed this kill box left this gap here. Whenever a mech would die, an Apocryton would actually either exit this kill box or never come into it. They would go all the way around here and res the person in the middle. So I made it so that I could take advantage of that. Whenever a mech goes down here, the Apocryton will come out here, and I'll just send like a contingent here to kill the Apocrytons. It's pretty helpful. You don't need to do it like that, frankly, but it works. Landing spot. This is where I grow my crops. There's the Devil Strand. Every good colony needs a Devil Strand farm. We got a pretty annoying winter cycle. You know, in fall, pretty much we stop being able to grow Devil Strand, so I just keep it in this box year round. Rice, corn. Yeah, the food situation. We literally exist on human meat. It is so like readily available. I never have run out of human meat at all. And honestly, it's just the crops. Like I said, the fall season is bad for growing. So fall and winter, half the year I can't grow any crops. I've run out of veg more than I've run out of human meat. Yeah, speaking of human meat, here's my factions. I've befriended pretty much everybody. Thinesla is neutral right now because we called on them too many times. They're actually not in range of my transport beacon, so I have to like wait for quests. I had to wait for quests to even get them neutral, and that hasn't even happened for this faction. They're also out of range, so I can't spam them with gifts. So I'll just have to wait for I would have had to wait for a quest if I wasn't finishing this colony now. Yeah, so that's the growing area. There's the mortar. We have a lot of shells, but to be frank, I only ever use the explosives ones. You don't need any of the other ones. This growing area is out here just because the ground was really fertile. This whole block of tile here exists just to put monuments on. This is, I'm pretty sure, about the max size that you can get for a monument. So this pretty much covers everything for the monument quests. There's a nature shrine for my 2 colonists that annoyingly have a natural focus type. Pretty much all of my psychers, I have about 5 or 6, have natural, which is how I leveled them up, other than the royal ones, obviously. But they also have morbid, which I think got given to them. I don't think they started with Morbid. I think it's because maybe these colonists died, but it makes it really convenient to keep a lot of fast skip pawns going. This whole outer area too that claims most of the map is solely just to deny, like, just to make the path to the inside of my base and the kill box really, you know, annoying, and to make sure that my colonists can be pretty far out of the mountain and still be safe. You're completely sealed in here. There's no way in. The only problem that I've had so far with having a base this big and all this area claimed under me is that when mech clusters spawn, sometimes they will just spawn inside this area. And they never do it neatly either. They'll spawn half over like one of these barrier walls, or they'll be like locked into this section that they clearly broke out of. It's very annoying, but you know what? Mech clusters are not a problem anymore, so you know, I've got over it. This was where wood was before somebody burned it down, so I don't have any wood right now, but who cares? Oh, I do have wood, but you know what I mean. There was shelves and stuff, and it's all gone now. What else is there even? I was going to fill this area with turrets, just to deter mech clusters. I don't even know if it would deter mech clusters, but didn't end up doing it. Equipment. I don't make any of the armor. Honestly, I don't even know how it's sustainable, because even now, I have 38 advanced components, but advanced components are the hardest thing. Even with infinite wealth and basically infinite money, advanced components are always in short supply, just because, I don't know, like they're annoying, and with every armor costing 4, like every good armor costing 4 advanced components, like it's just not sustainable to make armor. So usually what I do is I'll just rob marine armors off the bodies. I'll accept quests for cataphract armor, or my most common method is just whenever the Empire shows up and they have cataphract armor, I'll zap them, down them, strip them. The Empire gets angry at me, and then I'll send them human meat, and then they love me again. So that's how I get like so many packs of cataphract armor. I think I've got like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 right now, but there's probably some in the storage areas too. Yeah, it's heat waves, no problem. Or equipment, if you just look up the top here, everybody's rocking charge rifles. They're not all great quality. In fact, some of them are probably about to break. The only person who doesn't have a charge rifle, other than the EMP dude, is Steroid. Steroid has a sword because he's a brawler, which, you know what, I thought brawlers were awesome, but frankly, melee pawns just have no use to me anymore. Steroid does probably the least amount of anything during a combat situation. He pretty much exists just to chop up the sanguiphage prisoner when he goes on a rampage. And also we have Jackalope, who is my only pawn that is incapable of violence. In the beginning, I thought that this was a terrible trait, and you know what? It still is, obviously. You can't really make an argument for incapable of violence, but I'd just say, like, in a colony of this many people, 21, it's nice to have somebody that's just always inside and not focused on combat during raids sometimes, you know? The amount of times that I've needed to strip an enemy combatant or put out a fire or rescue somebody, and I'm like, who do I take away from this lineup that I, you know, really need? It's good to have like an incapable, just to sort of force you to have somebody on hand even. I don't know, that's just me there. Yeah, here's the pawns and their stuff. You can pause and have a look if you want. Honestly, it's not much to see. Obviously, this is the super stacked guy with the cool genome, whatever it is. But yeah, all my psychers have the ability to fast skip, which is honestly the only one I use anymore. Oh, that and Serenity to get rid of and like breaks, mental breaks. Yeah. As for yeah, Valgus is probably because she was the starting one. She's got the most spread out skills. Honestly, like I said, I started this colony doing recruiting only through this ritual. So for the first 3 years, Valgus was actually all alone. I just got really unlucky multiple times. Either I'd kill my prisoners by accident, or they just wouldn't. It's like a 50-50 chance to give you a colonist, and I just didn't get one. So Valgus had to be a bit of a do everything for a while, but no longer. Every single geothermal generator is claimed and taken. But yeah, I learnt a lot on this playthrough. It's easily my most successful playthrough. And I'm excited for Anomaly. I can't wait. The DLC looks so cool, man. But I want to do it fresh. And I have looked at a lot of it, but I also like whenever I see a big long paragraph of stuff explaining what's in Anomaly, I try to shy away from reading every single little thing about it because I want some of it to be a surprise. You know, I read enough to get hyped up, but I don't want to look at all the little details and start thinking about the most efficient ways to do things because I can't wait. But yeah, for anybody who cares, this was my colony. Thanks for watching. See ya.